So 1 Samuel 11. So let's look. We're in the book of 1 Samuel. So what a book to be in to go over war, because it's actually covered. We're going to look at 3 sections. 1 Samuel 11 in the Old Testament. Now, I have to show you something very unique about this chapter, this first verse. Now, if you have an NIV, and I don't know if other versions do this or not, but in the NIV, it starts with Nahash, and then there's a little a footnote. And if you look at the footnote, it's pretty big. It will say something about the Dead Sea Scrolls, and then it'll have this kind of fairly paragraph section. So let me explain something to you. And this is very unusual. We found what's known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. And in the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were written like 200, 300 BC, are many books of the Old Testament. One of the books in the Dead Sea Scrolls was 1 Samuel. But in this, and almost all the books of the Old Testament in the Dead Sea Scroll match up very well with the Bibles we have today. However, in this one book, there was a couple of verses in the Dead Sea Scroll that's not in our Bibles. Now, we don't know which one is the most accurate, what we have, or the Dead Sea Scroll that's from 300 BC that has these additional verses in it. That's why in the NIV they included at the bottom that they could be in the original 1 Samuel. Here's what it says. So this is the part that's in the Dead Sea Scrolls, very old version of the Bible. Now Nahash, king of the Ammonites, oppressed the Gadites and Reubenites severely. He gouged out all their right eyes and struck terror and dread in Israel. Not a man remained among the Israelites beyond the Jordan whose right eye was not gouged out by Nahash, king of the Ammonites, except that 7,000 men fled from the Ammonites and entered Jabesh Gilead. About a month later, and then it picks up with our verse 1. Everyone with me? Okay. So let's read. Now, picking up in verse 1, Nahash, the Ammonite, went up and besieged Jabesh Gilead. That's where those 7,000 men fled to. And all the men of Jabesh said to him, "Make a treaty with us, and we will be subject to you." But Nahash, the Ammonite, replied, "I will make a treaty with you only on the condition that I gouge out the right eye of every one of you." And I couldn't tell if it was men or men and women. Okay, I couldn't tell. So that I bring disgrace on all Israel. Verse 3, the elders of Jabesh said to him, "Give us 7 days so we can send messengers throughout Israel. If no one comes to rescue us, we will surrender to you." Now, this plucking out or gouging out eyeballs, I never realized was something that has been practiced for thousands of years, and in fact, maybe even practiced in the world today. So if you captured people from another nation or whatever, you don't want to spend all the money to take care of them in your prison forever. And so what they would do is just gouge out both of your eyes and then send you back. Then they never had to worry about you ever fighting again. And back in those days, once you blinded a guy, it was like living hell, right? So I'm going to share, here's a true story. This is 2 nations were at war. After the Battle of Clydion of 1014 AD, the Byzantine Emperor Basil II had captured several thousand soldiers from the Bulgarian Empire. He put them into groups of 100 and blinded 99 in every group. The last soldiers, he had only one eye gouged. Out of these, one-eyed men were ordered to lead their blind friends back to their commander. This earned Emperor Basil II the nickname of the Bulgar Slayer. According to some accounts of his story, Tsar Samuel of Bulgaria died from a heart attack upon seeing the returning blind soldiers. Does everyone follow that? There's 3,000 soldiers. They were all blind in both eyes, except one out of every 99, one eye, in order to guide them back to their homeland. And when the king saw them, just had a heart attack. You can imagine seeing that many men that were blinded, right?